last week.
No, we didn't.
No.
We're not going to skip.
No, okay, good. I didn't know if it was like one a week, and if you lose, you lose.
No snoozing and no losing. Okay, it's too bad Avram's not here. He said he had a question about the next bit in sefer hachinuch, but we're going to have to go on. So we are here, according to my bookmark. We learned about the mitzvah that it comes from these psukim, Zot Brigiti, Asher Tishmeru Beni Uvenichem, and we learned about the cutting off of the foreskin, and yeah, we learned a bunch of Hebrew words. Okay, does anybody want to read where Ki Yadua Lamevinim?
Where's that?
Yeah,
Where is that? That's in the second paragraph. The paragraph begins V'inyan mitzvah zo, right? And the second sentence begins Ki Yadua
I thought
Lamevinim.
it says starts Dine HaMitzvah. Is that?
Dina mitzvah is the third paragraph.
Okay, so we're above that. Whereabouts are you again?
Third paragraph, that's my fourth paragraph.
Well,
I've got a sentence that starts Lefi Shirtzah.
yeah, we're not there yet.
Okay, so I'm back a page. Okay.
Do you see it?
Say again.
Ki Yadua.
Kiyadua.
Kiyadua, I can see, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
I'll see.
Sure.
Right at the top.
Oh, okay, fine. That really is.
כידוע למבינים שתשלום שרת האדם בהסיר ממנו אותה העלה שהיא תוספת בו.
Was that clear to everyone? No. Which words? Which word? First word that you didn't understand.
כידוע, no.
First of all, ki. Ki is a really good word. You get a very good handle on. Ki has so many different meanings.
That same sentence.
Okay.
Kiyadua.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Kiyadua, not Kiyadua.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, ki has a number of different meanings. Ki, the most basic, typical meaning is because, right? Or due to, like a causal meaning. But ki, particularly in the sources that we're going to be seeing, can have a number of different meanings. It could mean when. It could mean for it is something, like ki tov, right? For it is good, which is kind of similar to because, but it's not causal. It's just kind of a statement. What else is ki?
You said when, so maybe you said when.
Yeah, it's an archaic usage, but we're probably going to run into it. What other? Well, we're going to see. It doesn't come to mind right now, but there are a number of different usages.
So something's very weird about this pasuk.
Yeah.
First of all, the idea that the man is perfect after you remove something from him that was extra, like the question of why would Hashem create you with something extra that has to be removed? And then the ki yadua l'mevinim is kind of like those who know. Instead of just straight out saying a fact, it's kind of saying it's like presumptuous. Ki yadua l'mevinim, those who understand, it's known to them. It's very strange to me.
Right. It sounds presumptuous, but that's kind of a modern perception of language, saying that those who know, but he actually means those who have. Who it's not even a learned, it's like a philosophical concept of contemplation, right? Mivin is the same root as litibonen, right? This is just to illustrate. We always have to go through the grammar. This is ki me vin. What is the shorish of this word?
Vina.
Right. What 3-letter shorish?
I would say Bet Nun Hey. or bet yud nun. I know.
So what's bet nun hey? What does this shorish mean?
Build.
Yeah, this is to
Build.
build.
Okay.
That's a different word. The shorish here is bet yud. Nun, which we recognize as the word ben, right, between.
Yeah.
Because lavin is to differentiate. It's also lavchin, which actually means precisely to differentiate. But the concept of bina, lavin, is the recognition of different parts and their relationship. So we have mevin, this is actually, we feel, right? And again, a shorish like this is called ayin yud. Because if we put the poal over here, right, the ayin, where the ayin placeholder is, it's the yud. Mevin, here we have other verbs that we conjugate similarly, mevi. Mevin, okay? So these are all the same idea.
Makir, that's what
Makir, yep. Is Makir? I think so. No, Makir is not certain.
I'll keep quiet.
It might, no, you might be right.
I got the wrong thought I said.
Makir, it might not be. It might be somewhat different. But here, this is called the binyan. Is called hifil. Okay, and then we have a different binyan called heat, which is a reflective, and in this case it becomes heat, bonen, right? And that's to contemplate, to understand, to contemplate. We can understand the relationship, and here lemivinim, it means people who engage in philosophy and contemplate the world, and then they're able to come to the natural conclusion that a person, a human being, is not created naturally completed. There's something missing. And part of the completion is actually taking some things away. So animals are created in a kind of naturally perfect state. This is like a concept that borrows from perhaps earlier ancient philosophies, but it is in the Gemara. There's a story about Rabbi Akiva explaining this concept to a heretical philosopher type character. So I'll get into it in a second, but the idea being that like an animal is born and they know how to walk right away, right? They can do everything. They have all their full faculties except for kangaroos, which spend months in the pocket. But the norm for an animal, right, is that it's born and then it's just there. It's already basically
Flying for itself. Yeah.
Some of them can already fend for themselves, but they don't require the long process that a human does, which from an evolutionary perspective has its own reasons behind it. But that's the way that Hashem has created us, and so we're missing things, and we have some extra things. So one of the extra things is the orla.
The orla being
the foreskin. Oh, I didn't know you weren't familiar with the term. That's fine.
Sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
Obviously,
So that's the kind of, so the story is that Rabbi Akiva, so there was this in the Gemara it says min, which could mean an early Christian. It could mean some kind of philosopher. He comes to Rabbi Akiva and says, "Why do you do Brit Milah? Hashem created you. Hashem only creates perfect things." And Rabbi Akiva says, "Oh, here, come, I was just making some bread. Come have a look." And he says, "This is what Hashem created." He has sheaves of wheat. This is what I made. These are loaves of bread. which one is a more perfected state? So I was like, oh, not everything is created fully, in its completed state. Some things need to be completed, and that's connected to the concept of what we say in Kiddush every Friday night, Asher bara Elohim la'asot. Asot is letaken in this context, that our part in completing the creation that Hashem, the way that Hashem made the world, is that's our role, is to complete the creation, right? So we're completing also ourselves.
But we're completing ourselves by removing the Tosefet.
Right. There are things that are
additional
extra.
yeah.
There are things like Amalek that are extra in the world, and there are things that need to be brought into the world. So
There's also the creation of man by taking off, at the rib or the part of his side, taking it out in order to complete.
please don't say rib.
Sorry, but tsela, is that what it's
Tsela.
called?
Tsela can mean a rib, but the concept of rib as a tsela, as being a rib, it means like a whole rack of ribs, because tsela means side.
Mm-hmm.
The side of, in modern Hebrew, it's used in geometric shapes to say the side of a triangle, right? That's called tsela. In the Torah we have tsela hativa, the side of the ark that Noach built. That's also referred to as tsela. So we see that refers to the whole side. So it's basically half. The original human being was two people, and half was separated out, right? That's the way that we understand it from Chazal. Right, so there are a lot of ways in which we see that there's a completion process that involves taking things away. And that's Yadul Mivinim, meaning people who are philosophically aware of the world. So Tashlum Tzurat Adam, the completion of...
Tashlum,
very good. I was hoping you'd catch on that.
I'm going to say, I'm going to raise a different thing, but you carry on and hope that I'll assume whether you... It's a word we often get presented with in a supermarket or something. They say, Tashlum Achad or Tashlum.
So, if we look at the Shoresh, right, everything has to go right to Shoresh. What does this mean? We're used to seeing this word shalem. Something is whole.
Shalom.
Also shalom. So, where did this tashlum come to mean paying? This makes more sense. That tashlum means completion. If we think about it this way, tashlum ha'inyan, it's the completion of the transaction. That's where it came in to mean payment. And that is the meaning that has stuck. Nowadays, if you want to say completion, you say hashlama instead of tashlum, but this is more biblically correct to call it tashlum.
So what Surat is?
Shape.
Okay.
Or form.
Of man, the Hasir Menu. We remove Mimenu from us.
Okay, so this is Be. Okay, and then Hasir. Is there a Kamas there?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, now the Hasir here is an interesting form which is not really present in modern Hebrew, not used. And it's how you make a noun out of a verb without changing it in any way whatsoever. So the definitive is lehasir, okay? And you just chop off the lamed and you get a noun. Like, we have many examples in the Chumash. Behita Vuko Bo, we have Nafol Tipol. In the Megillah, we have Nafol. All these what are called Lashon Nofela Lashon, where we have a doubling of the word in order to emphasize. It's actually This is the first one is actually a noun. Nafol tipol means a great fall, you will fall. Okay? So what we can do in biblical Hebrew is just lop off that lamed of the definitive and you get a noun that is the act. So hasir is to remove. Le'asir.
Yeah, hasar.
So hasir is
hasar is
removal.
Not the pot.
Mhm.
Not the pot.
No, not the pot.
Yeah. But the haser is without, or you lack.
That's chaser with a
Oh,
chet.
okay.
That's with a chet. Maybe related.
Let's assume because it saves the idea without and a little.
There's a theory about two-letter shorashim for verbs that were expanded to 3 letters, and so there's a relation. If there are 2 letters that are in common, there's a relationship, and you can see that all over the place. You could maybe apply that here. The original, the shortish here is sur. Is like this. Okay? Samech vav resh lasur means to turn. We just had it in the parasha with the burning bush. Vayasur ligot et asneh, that Moshe Rabbeinu noticed and he veered off his path to go look at the burning bush. That's the word we see. Oh, excuse me. That's the word we see. Lasur. Okay, so that's to turn away, and lasir means to. That's the causative. To take something away. So, behasir means in taking away. And this is a form that we're going to see a lot, both having the be means in, but it also means by agency of. Here it means by agency of. Also in modern Hebrew, this is something that many people get wrong. Lishtamesh im, people say. It's more correct to say lishtamesh be. Ani mishtamesh betush. Ani lo mishtamesh im hatush. Because it means through the agency. It says by Avraham Avinu, Yitbaruchu v'cha called Mishpachot Adama, right? All the peoples of the earth will be blessed through you. Bicha, not in you. That doesn't make any sense. They're not going to be in Abraham. They'll be blessed through you. So that's Behasir Mimenu. Ota Orla Shehi Tosefet. Bo Ota Orla, we learned last week, I believe. Right? Ota Orla, that same Orla. Shehi Tosefet. It is an addition or an extraneous part.
Bo is for him.
Within
The
him.
word accretion here.
Yeah.
Like you just said.
Yeah, that's within him. That's the simpler version. What's that?
I've got accretion.
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 An
That's a
accretion.
good word.
Tosefet and accretion.
It's interesting because an accretion actually normally means something's been. It's
Accrued.
not just it's been added to something. It's not even that it's extraneous. Accretion actually.
Right, well that's
Same thing, same idea.
That's
So
what
the idea-
Tosefet means. It's something that's added on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an odd way to talk
Yeah.
about
So
the
something was
Orla.
added. You're not removing something that was extraneous. You're removing something that was added on.
Yeah.
But that's true, though, isn't it?
Add this extra bit.
How do we
The
know?
extra bit.
Isn't it-
Add this extra bit. See if anybody spots it. And if they do,
But isn't that true, though, the fact that it's nothing wrong with it? So to your point, it's added on. It's not a problem. It doesn't affect anything physically, particularly. I don't know why I'm sorry here. But it's a spiritual issue that it impacts. So what I'm trying to say is, you said adding on,
Yeah.
you're not moving something which is unnecessary. But that's the point. The foreskin is not something which is unnecessary. It's something which has a spiritual dimension, which can be achieved by moving it, in terms of creating that perfect body of a man, a perfection of man. But it's more perfection of man physically, perfection of man spiritually as well, isn't it?
Wait, so Ron, I think that's the point here. That there's, for instance, in the Medrash, we're told that Adam Arishon was born without an Orla. He was born mahul, or he was already circumcised, and the idea that he was he was spiritually perfect, the way he was created. That was the original perfect creation Hashem created. But afterwards, after the fall of Adam and Chava, so we have an imperfect world that we have to repair. And we have another few places in the Midrash that sort of paint this picture of the world was perfect, the world that we live in is flawed, and it goes all the way down to like basic laws of nature, the way that the crops grow, right? It was something that they would just pluck fruit off the trees originally, and now it's become v'ze'ata pecha tochal lechem. You have to work hard. So there's also a lesser known midrash about pubic hair that was not present originally.
Not to change the subject, but
Go ahead.
where is the source for that it's Tosefet? Because we just have the mitzvah here.
No, that's just what the sefer hachinuch says. There is a
He's
footnote
saying
here.
Someone who can philosophize knows it's a Tosefet, but what's the source that it's a Tosefet?
It's from the footnote. It seems to be the indication is that it's something that gets in the way. Therefore, it's extraneous. That's the kind of maybe a better translation for Tosefet. It's something extraneous.
I mean, we do the mitzvah because Hashem said to do it.
Yeah.
And then we try to understand.
But what is the
why.
mitzvah doing? That's the question, right? Why?
But what's interesting here is that we are told not to try and understand mitzvot. So yet here's an attempt to understand it. Do you argue? Is that so? We don't know if that's the right answer either. And this would suggest that this is an attempt by the author of this particular book to find reasons, but ultimately we don't know the reason.
Well, this is a very long debate / discussion about what can we know and what are we supposed to try to figure out about the reasons behind the mitzvot, and there are a couple of different levels of kind of how to deal with that question at a couple of different levels, and where we're at, this book particularly is very he very much buys into the notion that we should try to understand as much as possible. Okay. And that's why in every mitzvah he's going to tell us, Shorshei mitzvah, he's going to try to tell us the reason behind it. That's the next sentence, actually. Right? Shorshei mitzvah. He's always going to try to explain something about the mitzvah. It's all based on Chazal, it's all based on the Gemara and the Midrash and stuff like that. But it's, we see both things. We see both that there are a lot of explanations for mitzvot in Chazal, and that there are other sources that say we can't understand, and it's all chukot, it's all gzerot, and there's nothing we can truly understand. The Rambam, the Morning Nevuchim, says that those are different levels of understanding, meaning when you get to the higher level, you understand that, well, if you keep asking the question why, you eventually get to there's no way to explain it. Even on a personal level, we can't explain our own actions, right? I say, I like ice cream. Why do you like ice cream? Because it's sweet. Why do you like sweet things? Because, right, if you keep on asking the question why, you're always going to get to a dead end. Mm-hmm. And so, when we're talking about Kodesh Baruch Hu, there's a very hard limit on our ability to know and discern what the motivations are.
You said chukot, isn't it chukim?
Chukim is the plural of chok, a law. Chukot is the plural of chukah, which is actually chok. Yeah, it's generally speaking, chukot is the plural of chukah, and chukah in modern Hebrew means constitution, which doesn't exist. But in the Torah, we say zot chukat haTorah, Adam asher yamut ba'ol. Right, the concept of chukah in Chazal is a mitzvah that we can't understand.
I thought it was chok. Okay.
That's the singular, is chukah.
Okay.
Chukot can also be a plural of chuk. Like we have chukot hagoyim, which just means like, it's not the plural of chukot, it's the masculine and singular can get fuzzy in Chazal's Hebrew. Okay, does somebody else want to read the next sentence?
שורשי מצווה זו לפי שרצה השם יתברך לקבוע בעם אשר הבדיל להיות נקרא על שמו.
That's not the end of the sentence.
Okay, אות קבועה בגופם להבדילם להבדילם משאר העמים בצורת גופם כמו שהם מובדלים בצורה נפשותם.
That stuff is a long sentence. It's
Yeah, I
a
read
run-on
them. Yeah.
sentence.
Asher mitzvah. Asher.
No, I mean, you can stop there. We'll
Okay.
cut it in half. Actually, no. Read to the next.
There's one bit later.
Yeah.
Asher motza'am u'moba'am heinenu sheva.
Shaveh. Right. Okay, this is a long sentence. This will be fun. So, Mishoshei mitzvah zo, this expression we should know by now. This is going to be the beginning of one paragraph in every mitzvah that we learn.
Sure.
Right. The roots of the sources, the motivations behind the mitzvah. Lefi sheratza Hashem yitbarach likboa ba'am asher hivdil liot nikra al shmo. That's all one phrase. Am asher hivdil liot nikra al shmo. That's a long phrase. Ot kavua begufam. That's the end of the clause, or the part of the sentence.
Likbar is usually used in the context modern Hebrew as likbar a doctor moment or something.
Right. It means to set out.
Likbar yom hazuzah.
You can set a time for an appointment.
You could add with them to the bracha.
Likbar mazah.
Likbar mazuzah.
Right. It's to make something
Set it.
To set it.
kavua. Kavua being permanent or stable,
Fixed.
fixed. Right. So to make something fixed, in this case, to have the ot brit, the sign of the covenant, fixed in our flesh, right? Okay, so this is an interesting opportunity to talk about the letter ayin. Likbo. Likboa. So we have two letters, chet and ayin, that act differently from all the other letters.
I don't have a vav in my translation. In my.
The vav is optional.
Okay, fine.
Good one.
Just for clarity, I use it. It's also a thing that they do in modern Hebrew. They add the vavs in so that it's easier to read.
Okay.
But if you have vowels, it doesn't make a difference. Chet and ayin act differently in that when they, at the end of the word, they will get an extra patach. When under any other consonant that would be there wouldn't have a patach. For instance, if we take the verb likbor, which means to bury. Okay, we have a resh on the end. There's no patach here, right? Because the basic form for this is binyan pa'al, right? It's E-O. That's what's going on here. Li-O. Any other, lishmor, lilmod, right? All the other ones, except if you have an ayin or a chet, like lif, toach. All of a sudden we see again this extra patach. And the truth is it's not a real patach. It's what's called chatach patach. What on earth is chatach patach? And why do we have this patach here? So, the secret is
Just alliterates so beautifully.
the ayin and chet are gutturals. What does a guttural mean? It means we don't read it likboa, likboa. liftoah. Okay? Once you're using your guttural, you can't actually just stop. If I try to read it without the hatach, it sounds the same way. Liftoah. There's still a little bit of a transition there, and that's actually what the chatach patach is expressing the fact that you can't actually pretend that there's no other vowel connecting, because there's always going to be some transition. In modern day, when most people, if you're not Temani, you don't use the gutturals, it's just a remnant, but that's the way we speak. That's the way we're using it. So that's the chatach patach is used in a place where it's really supposed to be a shva or nothing, but because of the circumstances of pronunciation and the necessities behind the pronunciation, you have to have something there, and that's what it signifies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was
I would say that as a major in linguistics, I would say that the ah is coming to help with the pronunciation because of the guttural, because ah is a back vowel, and you have to prepare the sound of the guttural with the proper vowel. O is more a middle vowel, and so it makes more sense that a person is going to make the sound from closer to where the origin of the guttural sound is, and that's why it turned into an ah.
The problem is that it doesn't matter what vowel comes before it, right? Mafteach, it's a tzere before it. And it could be any vowel beforehand, and you'll still have that.
I'm trying to explain that.
The patach. The patach is always going to be, no matter which vowel comes
Right.
before it.
Because of the guttural.
It's not an actual. It's not helping. It's just expressing. It's trying to express the pronunciation. Once the guttural, there has to be. It's not a stop.
Right.
Right. From a linguistic.
Right. The guttural is influencing the sound of the ah, no matter what the vowel
Right.
is before.
There's always going to be a little bit of an ah there.
Right.
Something to get the.
You're saying the same thing. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So that was just a fun lesson. Gutturals. So what is the explanation here? לפי שרצה השם יתברך לקבוע בעם אשר הבדיל להיות נקרא על שמו. That's a long phrase. בעם אשר הבדיל, right? The people that he separated out, להיות נקרא על שמו, to be called in his name. This is a nice abbreviation to know. You'll see this on public buildings. Al Shem is how we say something is named after. We say Al Shem, somebody else. Al Shmo, right? Al Shem Shelo. And this is abbreviated just like that. You'll see that in public buildings. The library, Al Shem Horowitz or Rennert or whomever doing the money. So after this long phrase, Likboa Ba'am Asher Yigdil Yikra Shmo, we have Ot Kavua Begufam. So that goes back to Likboa. Likboa Ot Kavua Begufam. Now the word Ot has two meanings. One is masculine and one is feminine. Ot means a letter. That is feminine. Otiyot HaKadoshot. When we talk about letters in Hebrew grammar, they're always feminine. But if it means a sign, it's going to be masculine. Just to confuse even more. So here the Ot.
I think Kiddush. I think Kiddush.
In Kiddush, what is in Kiddush?
Otir Elam.
That's a sign.
But that's talking about Shabbat.
Yeah, but Shabbat's a sign, and the word Ot there means sign. Ot hilelam.
Right, the he there is not referring to.
No, but the ot is a word
Yeah,
meaning sign.
yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Right, that's a confusing one. 'Cause it's he.
Yeah. Okay. I understand.
But
What it
it's
is.
Shabbat is
The he.
he.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So here we have ot kavua. We say the word kavua is masculine, and that's why.
Was kavod from likbor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means something that's set or
Yeah,
permanent.
yeah, exactly. Because it's the same root.
Yeah, it's just the adjective. Lehavdilam mishar amim betzurat gufam. Right, to separate them. Lehavdilam. We have here the appended object. So we have this word badal, which means some kind of separation, not to be confused with badal. In modern Hebrew means the butt, like a butt of a cigarette. The cigarette butt is also called badal, but the shorish means to separate. So we have in hifil, lehavdil. This is, of course, hif. This is a regular verb. There's nothing unusual about the shorish in terms of the consonants. And lehavdilam, we have a mem on the end. That is the object combined into the verb. You can combine objects into verbs in Hebrew. You cannot combine subjects, although the subject is implied oftentimes. So there's a phrase, I'm not sure, I think the origin might be from the Ramchal, or maybe from the Mor Nevuchim. The phrase goes like this: Lo yidativ, ayitiv. Were I to know him, I would be him. You cannot know a person, an other, fully. It's actually talking about Hashem, but you cannot know the other fully without being them. The only way to fully know what's going on with the other. So
if I was in his shoes.
Right, but it's not. It's a deeper sense of knowing, right? You can say if I was in his shoes, that means if I had to make that choice. Whereas this is to know in the deepest sense of, then that's identifying with. In order to fully identify, you have to just be the other person. You wouldn't be yourself. So that's just kind of an interesting philosophical. I don't know what the word is for it.
Precept.
Sure. Lavdilam, where are we? Lavdilam ish'ar ha'amim. Sha'ar meaning the rest of. Right? Sherit also means the leftover. Lash'ir is to leave something. B'tzurat gufam, right? That gufam, guf shelahem, kemo shehem uvdalim mehem b'tzurat nafsham. We have a lot of pronouns here. It's kind of hard to understand what's going on. But kemo shehem, just as they, being Am Yisrael, are muvdalim, are separated from them, being Shar Amim, all the other peoples, b'tzurat nafshotam, meaning there's a parallel here that needs to happen, that we're trying to achieve by doing the Brit Milah between our spiritual selves and our physical selves. The way that we're spiritually differ from the other nations, we also wanted to have a physical reflection of that. Asher motza'am mova'am einenu shaveh. Right? Motza'am, motza
To find.
is
Limso, to find? No? Or is that a different verb?
That is no.
Well, I almost want to say destination, but that's not. Or where you are already, like in the airplane.
Is it?
Where you are right now. You know, in the airplane, they say where
Yeah,
you are.
Motza. That's where you are right now. It's not your destination.
Yeah, this destination is in.
Right.
Motza is where you are right now.
Right. That's the opposite destination.
Okay.
That's your source. That's your
Location.
right. Motza.
So.
From the word yatsa. Okay. Latzet. To leave. It's your leaving. It's the place you're leaving. Your departure. Departure. Okay. So that's your departure point. The nations, their souls don't depart, meaning they don't come into this world from the same place that ours do. Ours come from under Kisei HaKavod. Right? They also have nefashot, they have a nefesh, they have some kind of spiritual component, but it's not the same as ours. This is Latzet.
But I what some means I find. Yeah? That didn't work.
Ani motzeh,
This is what to say, okay.
right? Motzeh,
It's the same root
that's
though. Yeah.
not the same root. That is mem
Sadiq, Aleph.
tzadik aleph.
This is
Lim so. This is latzet, and this is lim so. This is both of these are binyan pow. Two different verbs. Are they related? Not clear.
so matzah that we eat when we departed from Egypt.
No.
Is that where it comes from?
Matzah has
That's
a
that's
hand.
another one.
That's a different word. Okay?
I like it.
Yeah. What is matzah?
And then there's motzi matzah.
That's true. We say motzi matzah, but they're not related.
They just sound
They
like
just
they are.
sound like they should be.
And they look like they should be.
Yeah.
No, they're made from the same
Matzah.
stuff. But apart from
um,
that, they're not related.
This is actually the shorish mem tzadihei actually means to squeeze out or to meet out, M-E-T-E,
Yeah.
right? So like we have the word meats comes from this word.
Wow.
Juice.
To juice
Squeeze out
something.
the fruit.
Limatzot, right, means to squeeze as much as you can, to get as much as you can out of something like I said to a friend the other day that I'm thinking about leaving high tech. I'm leaving my job, mitziti. That's what you're saying. It's like I got everything I can out of it. I'm done with it.
I'm dried up.
Right. But it's not dried up. It's about getting as much as you can out of it.
Yeah.
I've squeezed everything out that I can. There's nothing left for me. So that's the concept of mitziti and matzah. I don't know how matzah fits in there,
Wait,
but that is the shorish. There could be something else going on here. With matzah, I'm not sure. I'll try to look it up.
if my kid is trying to squeeze everything out of me, could I say, at mitzitoti or something like that? How do you say?
Yeah.
Is that?
No.
When my
You
daughters
don't
come
really
and spend
say
my
that.
money, they
You don't say it?
squeeze me dry.
No, that's lischot. That's
Okay.
the word that we use for
Okay.
squeezing things. Yeah, that's lischot.
Okay. Good. They do that.
Yeah, that's also the word for blackmail in Hebrew.
They do that as well.
Schita.
They're all synonyms for daughter.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're
That's
here in
what they're about,
Motzah,
isn't
and it was mavo, right? It says mavo'am. Oh, mova'am. This is an interesting form. It's usually mavo. Here it uses a different form, which has the same meaning. Mova. But that's the destination. That's lavo. That's right. That's from the word lavo. Like in biblical Hebrew, it means to arrive somewhere. Vayavo hashemesh. Mavo hashemesh is the sun's destination. That's the west. Is mavo hashemesh.
So that's an entrance then, basically.
That's where that's the beginning of Parashat Vayetze Yaakov, right? It says Vayavo Hashemesh Vayifga b'makom. It got dark. Vayavo Hashemesh, the sun went down. It reached its destination in the west.
Would you
that-
say Moshav Mavo Medin is the same word?
Well, Mavo has another meaning, like Boacha Soar, right? As you're coming up to it. So Mavo Modim means right before Modim.
Oh, right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like nowadays, Mavo means a forward. It actually kind of flipped over. In the Gemara, we have this. There's in the beginning of Brachot. There's a long, lengthy discussion about what does it mean. What does the word Vayavo Shemesh mean? Is it when the sun comes up or when the sun goes down?
Mm-hmm.
So at that point already, we see in Chazal during the time of the Gemara, it was already could have either meaning, or they thought it meant before something happens, an earlier action, the way that we think about it nowadays, and like Mavo Modi'im, that's the part that's before Modi'im. But biblically, it seems to mean
Before
arriving.
Like when I went to Mevaza last week.
Right.
That's next to Kfarza.
Right, but it's right before it.
Yes, you're right. No, okay, it's Mevaza.
Exactly.
So Yaakov wrestled the angel like at dawn, before dawn, like before the sun came up. Is that
That was not the story of wrestling angels.
It's
The
the
story that I'm referring to, Vayavo Shemesh, is when he laid down and had the dream about the ladder,
okay?
right?
So that was at dawn.
No, that was when it got dark. Vayavo Shemesh, Vaygav Makom, Vayalin Sham. He slept there. It got dark.
So I guess I'm confused about this idea of the entrance of the sun. They weren't sure if it's entering nighttime
The
or.
Chazal was sure if that means the sun came up or the sun went down. And the conclusion in the Gemara is that, yes, the sun went down. From examining different places, different instances of the expression vayavo, it meant at that point in the Chumash it means reaching its destination. So motza'am u'mova'am means departure and destination of umot ha'olav shar amim goyim. They come from a different place and they go to a different place than we do. Einenu shaveh, it's not the same. Okay.
So, I'm sorry. So Mavo is departure and Mova is destination.
No, mavo and mova are the same word.
Motza is part.
Are alternates of the same word. Motza is departure or departure point,
Right.
and mavo or mova in this case, in this context of the biblical Hebrew that sefer hachinuch is written in mimicking the biblical style that he's mimicking, it means destination.